Hi, Sharon. So nice to see you. Thank you for joining me from the Netherlands. It's so nice to connect with you finally.
You're welcome. Thank you. You too.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask you a few questions regarding this method that we've been introduced to and how it's been affecting your world. So, the first question that I have is, how were you introduced to this method?
I stumbled on it on my Facebook page or my Facebook posts. And I'm in the Netherlands, so I saw a post of Nicolien, who was the Dutch trainer at the moment, and it intrigued me because I was reading the best method to change your the negative feelings you have and all the things she said. I thought from, oh, that would be nice if that really could be the case. But I thought this can't be. It's too good to be true. But it kept lingering in my head, and I thought, but what if it is really true? Then I have to do it. If it's true, I have to do it. So I contacted Nicolene, and we had a conversation, and I was like exactly the same thing. I at the one in the one hand, I thought this can't be true. This can't be. You have to go through therapy years and years and years, and which I also had done. But the real deep issues didn't really change for me. So I was looking for that, and she said she could do that with this method.
Mm.
So I just first had a little talk with my husband, and then he also said, "Do what you have to do. If you feel this is it, then do it." So I stepped into the training, and it was a week-long training at a specific location here in the Netherlands. Beautiful location, by the way, and it was really, really, really mind-blowing. It was an experience I never had before. I always had negative voices in my head about myself, saying how stupid I am, how dumb, unworthy, um, not enough, a bad woman, a bad housewife, who doesn't do household chores and who is messy, and all those really. Actually, it was a lot of self-hate and self-loathing that
Mhm.
I had, and I always kept telling myself that. And I was very insecure. I had also a lot of phobias, so I was afraid to go out of our house and go to the shop at the end of our street. So it was only a couple of meters, perhaps. And I was afraid to do that because I thought then I might meet someone and I have to talk. And I didn't want to do that. Or in a grocery store, I would have to talk to someone behind the counter and tell them what I wanted. And I was afraid to. So it was really, really bad at one
Wow.
point. And this training, the creatrix, it just totally turned it around. The negative voices were gone. And I remembered during the training, I was also like, I was having a new feeling about my being in my physical body as a woman. And
Mm.
it was really, I was just like touching myself and saying, but this is my stomach is too big, I
Mhm.
think. But it's totally fine. It's soft and nice.
Oh,
And
I love that.
yeah, and I also said this is because I don't have children.
Hmm.
We have tried to have children with IVF, but it didn't work. So that's that. But then for the first time, I really felt like a mother. Just
Mm.
the feeling of having that motherly feeling
Mm,
for others, but also for myself. So
mm.
it was really mind blowing. I remember that very clearly. And
Wow.
this was in 2017. How many years ago is that? 7 years
Six,
ago.
7,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And the negative voices have never come back again. And that is such I always, because I've also done a lot of therapies and
Mhm,
everything, a lot of things. And all, it all did help me very much. But the core feeling of feeling unworthy
mm,
in that's why I say in my stomach, I
mm,
feel it in my stomach. It wasn't there. There was no grounding. There was no basis for my
mm,
in my experience. And creatrix brought that back. I think it's the connection with who you really are that
mm.
is healed again. And that's really powerful. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So much to share and talk about there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wow. So, the biggest thing that you were struggling with before this method would have been the negative self-loathing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And everything that came out of that, of course. Yeah. And the
Mm,
fears and
mm,
insecurities. Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
Not feeling worthy, not being good enough. Also,
mm,
the whole being a woman, feeling like a little girl, not capable of living your life,
mm,
basically. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
So who would you say you were before doing this process?
Good question. Um, I always try to please others and be like uh, uh, how others wanted me to be. So I would always check to see what the expectations were of others and then try to live up to that. Of course, that doesn't work because you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of stress and yeah, trying to be someone because I didn't know who I was. I didn't feel uh, I was a whole person.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. I can totally resonate with that.
Mm.
Absolutely. And so, what would you say has been the biggest change for you?
There's so much, so many big changes. It's really unbelievable. Um, I always find it very funny because in 2017, in January, I did the training. Um, After that, I immediately had a few clients. So I also have the experience that you can help other women, which is really great. But a year after that, so in January 2018, we won the lottery.
Oh, exciting.
And I really believe that the whole um, the becoming whole actually
Mm,
also started for me the law of attraction.
hmm.
You know that it's um, I can attract more things to me that are beneficial and that are good and that are the abundance that I feel since Creatrix
Mm,
is only is also materializing. So that's
mm,
really funny. So we won the lottery and we had a nice prize of money, 118,000 euros, something like that.
oh,
So we had our own money to get a mortgage for our own house.
mm-hmm.
So now, in the later that year, we bought a house in another very nice little village in the north of the Netherlands. And with the house came an art frame shop, a gallery, and a gift shop.
Oh, wow.
And my husband, he is an art painter. So,
Oh,
of course, that was a very nice combination. And then I stepped up and I became the art frame maker.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I would never, ever have done that if I hadn't had creatrix. So I wouldn't have dared. And
Yes.
now, so this big company is ours, and I am basically the one who is managing it all. It's my business, and I'm the one making the decisions, and I'm loving it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So yesterday and the day before that, we had a an open studio.
Mhm,
What's it called, tour,
mhm.
and we had yesterday 150 people visiting us, and the
Ah,
day before 95 people. So it's really yeah, big thing. And then I
wow.
also have, besides that, I am also an astrologer, professional
Aha.
astrologer, and the coaching business. So I'm combining the creatrix and the astrology.
Fantastic, Sharon.
I'm getting a cup of coffee from my husband. Thank you,
Oh, what
El.
a gem.
You're welcome. Hello.
That's
So,
lovely.
so I have a very busy company in which the balancing is always
Yes.
um, what shall we say, very challenging, but also nice. I need the different aspects because the art frame making, it's really working with your hands and
Mm,
having very concrete results.
hmm.
And in the gallery, we also help other artists here in the neighborhood to sell their art. And
Oh,
I also make jewelry myself and handbags. So my own creativity is also uh,
wow.
well, yeah.
That's
So
brilliant.
it's yeah.
When you said to
And I
me that you had,
never would have.
you sorry, go.
Sorry, I never would have done all this if I hadn't had creatrix because
Uh,
I wouldn't have dared. Yeah.
when you said to me you had so much to share, I was so excited to hear. And you really do. Wow.
Yeah.
What a change of life. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, really. It's our life totally changed
mm,
upside down in a
mm.
very good way. Yeah.
Yes. And
And
this is the
so where
power.
we yeah, exactly. And the place where we live now, that's also the big decisions come so much more intuitive now.
Mm,
And I just intuitively feel this is the right thing to do. This is
mhm,
not the right thing to do. We now have a place where we have more space. We have a view on a beautiful. I don't know what's called, pastries. I don't know.
oh, I don't know. I feel like I need to look that up now.
Yeah.
You have a
Well,
beautiful view.
beautiful land, yes, and that's the space that you feel from that,
Mm,
just by looking at space and nature and
mm,
birds and the food growing on the land.
mm, mm,
It's yeah, it's all that is also contributing to the feeling of abundance, and that's
mhm,
really, it's not only the money or
mhm,
materials, but it's really the feeling of the expanding. And that's
mm,
also what creatrix does for me, expand the feeling of um, taking in the space that you that's yours.
mm.
And it's much more than you think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So expansive, so abundant, and it's our birthright,
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oof. So, who else has noticed these changes in you?
Oh, so many people. Of course, the first one is my husband.
Mhm.
He knew me as uh I we had in our relationship also shifted a lot because um a lot of times I played the little girl,
Mm.
and so that also changed the dynamics in our relationship, that he takes care of me in more like a way of parent child almost sometimes. So that's leveled out more. Um, I don't cry
Mm.
as much as I did. Actually, I don't think I almost never cry anymore. And before I was uh, sobbing
Mm.
a lot, and
Mm.
everything felt too much, and um, the self-loathing was really, yeah. I think it was a very depressed way of living that I
Mm.
had, and I am now every day I'm cheerful, and
Mhm.
I laugh a lot. We have a lot of humor. Um, it feels like spreading light and love,
Mm.
and it's of course also my clients from in the gallery and the art frame shop. They also feel, I think, a lightness in this building, in this, so they feel very welcome. Um, my family, that's another aspect. I don't have a good relationship with my family because of things that happened in the past.
Mhm.
And I was able, before Creatrix, I already have done a lot of um, coming up for myself in the family, and which didn't they didn't like.
Yeah.
So that there has been a break in the family relationships, especially with my mother and the women in my family. Since then, that has become better because also those feelings are not um, uh, are not taking me down anymore.
Mm.
It's I see their story now, and although I don't condone some behaviors they have done, but I can now see that they had their own struggles too, of course, and I am more empathic about it, more forgiving, and so yeah, that's we now have a relationship that is up until a specific point. I don't know how you say that in English, but um, we do talk to each other, but not very
Yeah.
deeply or about
Oh,
very
surface. We call it
personal.
surface. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's okay. That's fine with me. I don't have to be best friends or, but it's nice to be able to talk to each other like normal
Mm.
people
Mm.
instead
Absolutely.
of having all those negative feelings, or feeling sad or feeling angry, or that's all gone now. So
Mhm. Oh, now this
yeah.
question you'll be able to speak true to because it was something that you just brought up earlier and you were thinking that this sounds too good to be true. So,
Yeah.
what would
Yeah.
you say to ladies out there that are actually thinking this is too good to be true?
Yeah, I always thought, well, you hear it all over the place, and everybody thinks it takes years of therapy and practicing. And people always say you learn to live with your traumas or your uh, negative feelings, and you, or with your insecurities or with your fears, you will learn to live with it in a slightly better way. You learn to deal with it. Now I know that's you don't have to deal with that shit. You can just I thought it was very nice. I don't know where I heard it, but the it you don't let things go, they let you go. That's how I feel about creatrix. the hook that all those negative feelings and the wrong perceptions you have of reality, they cling onto a hook with you because you have some pain or trauma or hurt somewhere in your past, in your body, in even the stories of your mother and whoever came before you, your whole family. You have all those hooks, and creatrix takes away those hooks, and so there's nothing to cling on anymore, so it just slides away from you. And so I think the things like sadness or anger or um, they're just they're not even coming to a point of that it's not being formed anymore, something like that. I don't know how to
Yeah.
phrase it, but
Yeah. Yeah. No, that analogy was great with the hooks because it's true. It's just like
yeah,
it doesn't attach anymore. You can't attach to it anymore.
exactly, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's something you can't imagine if you don't if you haven't experienced it.
Mm,
So that's a little difficult to explain to women who have not experienced it yet, but it's such it's as if my head was always so full of my own thoughts and stories that weren't even true, but I didn't know that. And it has become so much more quiet
mm,
in my head and also in my body. That's the maybe the biggest change in uh yeah, that sets off everything else. It's the peace and quiet, the calm mind. And I have never experienced that before creatrix, honestly.
mm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you can't explain it. You have to experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have
Um,
done a lot of different therapies or personal development, spiritual courses, meditation, all kinds of healing modalities, Reiki, you name it. I've done it almost. And it's not that they don't work. They have helped me. I meditate still. Um, but creatrix was such, yeah, it heals um, the core of who you are. You become who you are supposed to be. You become who you are, is what I always like to say, because you have taken on so many layers of pain and hurt and of protection, um, or even things that you see others do and you take that on, or things other people say about you. You take all that on, and you are becoming covered almost in all those different layers. And creatrix takes off those layers, and then you rise up in who you are. That's how it feels. Yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah. Articulate it so beautifully.
Thank you.
Now, if you could say one thing to ladies that are out there and they're starting to become a little bit curious about this method, what would you like to communicate to them?
Just do it. Go with the feeling in your gut, because I know I had the feeling in my gut. The voice that I heard myself say, if this is true, if this can do what it says it can do, I have to do it, no matter what. And I did, and it was. And so you have to trust your gut, because that is also what creatrix is strengthening. But every woman has it already. It's just that you don't trust yourself anymore. But you have the gut feeling, and if you feel that little sparkle in your belly or in your gut that says ooh ooh ooh, then go for it, because you know inside that this is the thing you need to do. That's what it was for me. Yeah.
Yes. And so, so grateful that you followed it. Look at all the
Yeah,
abundance and
me too.
expansiveness that's happened since.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wow. And the final question, what would you say to the men out there that have a beautiful lady in their life and they see her struggling with either her self-esteem, her
Yeah.
emotions, or stress?
Yes.
What would you say to the
Yes.
men?
Um, well, I know because of my own husband, they only want you to be happy. And if you are convinced, if you feel in your gut that this is what you need to do, your husband will see and feel that also. So you only have to be honest to yourself and to your husband. And if he loves you, he will know it, he will feel it, and he will completely stand beside you.
Mm.
I think so. It's maybe for the man it's hard to imagine also that this can be done. Um, but think about the woman you fell in love with, the little things, uh, most probably the little things that you saw in her that you fell in love with are now also covered, what I said, by all those layers of negativity about herself, her insecurities. But you, as her man who fell in love with her, knows what's beneath that. And if you want to get to that again, let her get creatrix. I would
Yes.
say.
Powerful, powerful, so very powerful. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been
You're welcome.
amazing. It has been so fantastic to hear your story and for you to be brave enough to share this expansive abundance worldwide. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining me, Sharon. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you for interviewing me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.